why it is wrong to burn books and why it is wrong to murder people. There are over 7 billion people alive today on this little planet Earth of ours. Of this 7 billion people, there are 1 billion and some people who consider themselves Christian. Many of them consider themselves Catholic Christians. Others consider themselves Protestant Christians or Anglicans or whatever type of Christian that they consider themselves. There are over 1.2 billion, maybe more than 1.2 billion people in the world who consider themselves Muslim. Whether they are Shiites or Sunnites, it's irrelevant what kind of Muslim. There are over 1 billion Muslims in the world today. There are only about 24 to 30 million people in the world today who, on some basis religiously, consider themselves to be Jewish. There are Confucianists and Buddhists and Hindus and Taoists who make up more than 1.5 billion people in this world today. And then there are a whole number of other people in the world who have different ideas and beliefs. And all these different religions, almost all of them, have their own holy books. Books that for them are the most important things in this world, because to them they contain the words that are the most precious words in the world. And when you burn their books, you send them a fret. You make them, who are already feeling threatened, whether justifiably or not, you make them feel more threatened than ever. You make the world a worse place. Burning books does no good. Even burning books that are about burning books. For example, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf. It is a horrifically boring and very incorrect book. It contains many lies. But to burn Mein Kampf would be no better or worse than burning any other book, and would serve no purpose but to prevent people from finding out what big lies and how boring such a book is. Burning books is not the correct thing to do. If you do not like a book, then you can sell it, or give it as a gift to somebody, or simply leave it at a library or at a coffee shop or something like that. You do not need to keep that book. You do not need to burn the book. You do not need to destroy the book physically on purpose. You do not need to disrespect what over 1 billion people on earth consider to be the most holy book of all. It serves no purpose but to threaten people who already feel threatened. Now, murdering people is forbidden by almost all the religions of the world, and definitely it is prohibited by Islam, it is prohibited by Buddhism, it is prohibited by Hinduism, it is prohibited by Christianity, and it is prohibited by Judaism, among other religions. Murdering people is wrong. Burning books is wrong. When you murder people, you murder the potential for peace on earth. You risk destroying this planet and everything that matters. And in the eye of any God that is all-loving, murder is not acceptable. If someone burns a book that you love, you do not need to murder other people who didn't burn that book. You can take that person to court. You can put them on trial if they are willing to. If they are in your own society, in your own country, if somebody burns your holy book, you can put them on trial. And you can find out whether they were mentally conscious of what they did or not, whether they were insane or not. If they're insane, why would you want to harm them? They need help. If they're not insane, then according to your laws in your country, you may do as you will with the specific person who burnt those books that are holy to you. You do not have a right to take out your hurt and your feeling threatened and your insecurities and your anger and fear. You do not have a right to take that out on other people who did not burn your book. So, murder is wrong. Burning books is wrong. No matter what kind of book it is, if you do not like it, you can give it to somebody as a gift. You can leave it at a library. You do not need to deface or burn somebody's holy book, because all you are doing is making a dangerous world even more dangerous. What we need in this world is more respect for one another, more tolerance, more unity in diversity. I cannot accept the argument that God, who is all loving and good, would allow anybody to threaten another human being and burn what they consider to be their holy book. Even if you don't agree with it, even if you do not like that book, you have no right to incite other people to feel threatened, to incite them, to cause them to feel that they need to hit back. But those people whose books are burnt do not have a right to murder people who did not actually go to trial, who were not proven guilty in a court of law. Even in Islam, even in Christianity, even in Judaism, in all the major religions, there is the right to be given mercy, and there is the right to be judged properly. And to be judged properly means to determine whether or not that person is mentally sane, whether that person has the understanding of what they did or not. So I repeat once and for all, do not burn people's books. Do not murder people who burn books if they're not brought to court first and proven guilty. And do not murder people who are simply not of your religion, or even of your religion, who serve an organization that is trying to help poor people in need, or at least maybe trying to help poor people in need. Murdering innocent people is never justified. Collective punishment is never justified. If somebody attacks you, you have a right to self-defense against that somebody. You do not have a right to go after their children, their wives, their relatives and family. If those children, wives, relatives and family did not attack you, you have no right to kill them just because of what their father, uncle, sister, brother, daughter, aunt, whatever did to you. You have a right to defend against the one attacking you, not against those related to them or those in some way connected to them at all. So do not burn books and do not murder people. There is no excuse for either of these things. Again, if you are some so-called religious person in some country in the world who hates a certain book, who hates a certain religion, you do not have the right to burn their book and make it public knowledge. You have no right to bring the rest of the world into difficulty when we have enough horrors, enough wars, enough hatred going on in the world. We need to respect one another. Respect does not mean having to accept the other person's beliefs. It simply means not to offend them on purpose. You may walk into a church and not be a Christian. You may walk into a mosque and not be a Muslim. You may walk into a synagogue and not be a Jew. You may walk into a temple and not be a Hindu. But you must respect that temple, that mosque, that synagogue, that church when you walk into it, because it does not belong to you. It belongs to those who believe in that religion. Do not burn books. It is wrong. Do not murder people. It is wrong. Thank you for listening. I hope I really hope that you will understand what I am saying, and that if you have any inclination from now on to hate anybody, then you should think about my words. God does not want us to hate one another, to put fear in one another, to disrespect one another, and to incite one another to violence. This world has had enough violence, and it's time for us to be kind, sensible, reasonable, tolerant, respectful of each other and of each other's differences. Thank you.